everyone. Welcome back to the Midnight Matinee. We're here to talk about Insidious.
The universe of Insidious.
Yep, we're talking about the instead of doing them individually, like we had been with the other ones. Sorry, I had to move my microphone. Like we had each individual movie. These are all a part of a series, so we're just going to lump them all together. So that'll save us some time.
Well, before we start, though, what's been going on this week?
We didn't get abducted.
There was no alien invasion.
There was no alien war in the sky. So it turns out that guy, who had been wrong a lot of times before, was wrong again.
Nanu.
Yeah. And he's already backpedaling, because now he said that the alien invasion came after the sci-fi world. So we have to evolve into the sci-fi world, then the alien invasion happens. So, yeah, none of that.
Like all these people who, it's the end of the world,
yeah.
It's the rapture.
Every couple years,
it's Armageddon.
There's a date that someone finds it's going to be the end of the world, and as of yet, the world hasn't ended yet.
Wasn't there like one in the 2012 or something like that, where they some kind of
the John Cusack movie?
Well, I want to say though, wasn't there some kind of
the Mayan calendar?
Mayan calendar. That's what it was. Yep, we're still here. What?
Still here.
12 years later, still kicking.
Still hasn't ended yet.
Well, they also say the world ended in 1988.
Yep.
And that we're living in a
simulation.
A simulation. If that's the case, I'm glad I found Bob.
We're in the simulation. We're all in the Matrix.
We're all in the Matrix.
We're all swimming around in goo.
Oh, I don't want to be bald or anything like that. Anyway.
So yeah, I don't think anything else really is happening. We're doing the shorts for the 24 days of Christmas horror movies right now. So if you want to check that out.
Yeah, let's see. The first one was a bit of a stinker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The second night we watched Violent Night. Was very good.
That was really, really good. Yeah.
Found out it was by the people who made John Wick movies. Yeah. So basically, let's just say Santa is badass. Yeah.
It has David Harbour in it. So
yeah, from Stranger Things.
Yeah, he is such a fantastic actor.
Yeah, that was really good. And then last night we watched. I had seen the remake of Black Christmas, so I thought that's what I had on the list. But we ended up watching the Black Christmas from 1973, which has Margot Kidder, who you know her from
the
Superman and Amityville Horror.
Right.
Yeah. It was actually, I think that one was a lot more darker.
Yeah.
And had much better. It was a much better movie than the campy remake, Let's Slash Up Sorority Girls, that I saw in, I want to say it was in the 2000s when they redid it.
This one was really slow paced and really, really dark, and not that the acting was bad, but the acting was very dry in it, and it seemed like the plot didn't really move that much.
They had you guessing a little bit. It had one of those M. Night Shyamalan moments. Yeah, but
it's a nice period piece. Being from the early 70s, because there's a scene in it where they trace a phone call, and back in those days you had to actually trace the phone call. Yeah. So like some guy has to go down to the phone company, and when the call comes in he has to run down and look at the switchboard and see which of the electric switches is thrown, and then go down the rows to find where it was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and these were like towers of like phone lines. Can you figure this was, I would say, what was it? Somewhere in Boston area? I can't remember what college.
Yeah, it's in Boston, and then the East Coast.
Yeah. But.
Yeah, something to see.
But if you enjoy, if you like your Christmas, but you like your Christmas a little bit spicy with some horror, then follow along. We don't know what we're watching it tonight. We'll let everybody know in a little bit here.
The Christmas ones are shuffled. They're mixed up.
Yeah, these were randomly picked. So random. Unlike when we were doing the 31 Days of Halloween, where I grouped all the Insidious, which we were talking about tonight, which ended up being 5 nights, and then there's the whole Conjuring universe.
Yeah, the Conjuring movies, and then we did.
Was there any other groups like that?
I don't think so, because like some of the subgenres of the Conjuring are in there too.
Yeah, the Annabelles and the Nun and the La Llorona, which I can never say. La Llorona. I can't say. It's not L. It's
2 L's is a Y. Yeah.
Why does it have to be a Y? Sorry. Tangent there. Okay. Right.
So we're going to talk about Insidious, the Insidious franchise. We watched all of them.
Which stars Patrick Wilson, who seems to be the only guy working in Hollywood, because he is everywhere.
Right. It's like every time you see a movie that has a dad in it, it's like Patrick Wilson. You're like, what? Sometimes it kind of takes you out of it. It's a movie because you're watching it and you're like, what? Oh yeah, this isn't the Insidious movies, or this isn't
the Conjuring
movies.
Which is funny. The first time I ever saw him, I didn't even realize it until I was looking up, because he sang on a Ghost did a song, Ghost the band.
Right. It's on the Red
Patrick
Door.
Wilson actually sang on it. And I'm like, wow, he's got an incredible voice. So I kind of looked it up.
He's the Phantom of the Opera.
No, he's not the Phantom of the Opera. He plays the love interest.
Oh.
The Phantom was played by, I want to say that was Gerard Butler. Or am I wrong? I can't remember. It's been too long. But anyway,
it doesn't matter.
He has got this operatic, belting voice. You're like, ah! But it was good. But yeah, Patrick Wilson, and he plays Ed Warren in The Conjuring.
Right, which we watched next.
Yes.
So it was kind of like...
Well, I thought I threw in a few between it because I was gone. And that was one of those stinkers that you couldn't get through. Yeah. I gave him a bunch of easy-to-find freebies while I was away at a wedding in October. And then, he couldn't even get through one of them.
Yeah, one of them was... I don't even remember which it was. It was so bad. It was just lazy. That's how I would describe it, is lazy from beginning to end. It's like somebody had some money to burn, and them and their friends just took an old comic book and decided to make a movie about it, because it was the plot was terrible, the acting was horrible, the sets were non-existent. It was just bad all the way through. It looked like someone filmed it on their phone.
It probably was a student project.
It was terrible.
Or like an independent, low budget. But we don't even remember the name of that. We're not talking about Insidious, though. We love Insidious.
Insidious.
Though it was... The problem is that we saw the first two, and I don't think... We didn't see the two middle, or the third and fourth installment, and then I saw Red Door come out, and I was like, I needed something on the plane, so I downloaded it, and it was the continuation of the Insidious story, with the Lamberts,
right,
and the kid,
right,
Dalton, and all that. So I thought, so I was like, well, what did I miss? And the middle Insidiouses are
3 and
backstories,
right? They're actually the beginning. So like 3 and 4 are actually 1 and 2.
Yes.
If you watch them in chronological order of how the plot plays out. So you have to watch Insidious Chapter 3, and then Insidious The Last Key, then Insidious, the first one, then Chapter 2, and then The Red Door. If you watch them in that order, then it makes total sense what's going on.
Yeah, we did not watch it. We watched them
as they came out.
Chronologically, because I assumed, this is a similar story. Yeah. But basically, there was a character in the original Insidious, the psychic, played by Lynn Shay. Well, Lise was her name. And she was... I think she was one of the best parts of the first movie.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
She comes in and she puts on this whole gas mask thing, and cool. I'm like, this is really cool.
Gas mask apparatus thing, and like the other guy...
we don't want to give any spoilers, but...
Yeah, but I'm not going to spoilers, but the whole thing is that it's like a sensory deprivation thing, and she basically is like a medium, and the two ghost hunters that work with her... Specs and Tucker.
Specs and Tucker from Spectral Sightings or something.
He listens to the microphone in the gas mask and then writes down everything that she says. And then she's not aware of what she's saying, and neither is anybody else.
So is that like
automatic writing?
Automatic
kind of
writing, yeah.
But Tucker can't do it because he can't keep up.
Oh. So
that's the whole thing, is that, he's there for like the tech stuff, and then Specs is there because he's like really, really intelligent.
Yeah. Well, Specs and Tucker, I really liked it. They provided some of that comic relief. Yeah, they're kind
of the comic relief of the show, yeah.
They come in, because they've got their own spectral sighting. Is it spectral sightings or spectral?
I don't remember what it was.
I can't remember the name of the company, but they were kind of They probably had no abilities whatsoever.
No. They're just like YouTubers, basically. They just have their own ghost YouTube channel.
Which is funny is you get to see where they came from when you're watching Insidious 3 and Insidious Last Key.
Right.
How they kind of came
how
together.
It started, and then
how they came together with the psychic Elise.
Really, really, really well written, I would say, because it's kind of hard because I think they thought that Insidious was going to be a one-and-done story, so they killed off the medium at the end of it, and then they realized that they could make more of these and expand the universe, and then, like, you can't because, like, the main character of it you killed in the end of the first movie.
Well, and their budgets, like the first one...
Yeah, just kept expanding.
Yeah, well, let's see. They did the first one. The first Insidious was only a $1.5 million budget.
Right.
Which blows my mind. And then they went up for Insidious 2. It was $5 million. Insidious, I cannot say that word, was $10 million.
Grossed $100 million.
Yeah.
The first one did.
Oh, I know. Yeah, think about that. That's
hell of a return.
Investment. That's a hell of a return on your money.
That's the opposite of Disney money there.
Yeah. So their total budget for all 5 films was $42.5 million.
Right.
And they made
$731.9 million.
That's crazy.
That's the exact opposite of a Disney budget.
I hope Patrick Wilson got a lot of money out of that. Disney money.
Yeah, most Disney movies have a budget of $150 million, and then they gross, $400.
Yeah, right before we came on, he saw...
yeah, we went to IMDb to do some research, and the entire top of IMDb was a banner ad that you couldn't click away from for Snow White.
Snow White and the new Snow White action.
The new money hole that Disney has found to shovel big buckets of cash into.
And they've had how many rewrites? Oh, well, we don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but it looks terrible. I'm sure it's going to be a big flop like all the other Disney films.
I feel bad for Gal Gadot because she's a fantastic actress, and she got snookered into this deal, and you could tell that she doesn't want anything to do with it because she doesn't talk about it. She doesn't.
She's like, I don't even know.
The Rachel Ziegler.
That's what it is.
Cannot shut up. About
I look over and I see a giant picture of Rachel Ziegler. I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, Rachel Ziegler is the beautiful Snow White, who Gal Gadot is jealous of her beauty. For real. Someone pitched that, and then somebody else approved it. Could you imagine being at that board meeting?
I think it needs to be the reverse, if anything.
They're sitting around the meeting, you're like, oh, what? What are we doing? Oh.
Anyway, let's get back on track. Rein it back in.
We were talking about budgets and wasting money.
Yes. Anyway, so we're talking, that is
that's a lot of money.
730.1, yeah, can't even say, almost
$731.9 million gross.
Yep, that's a good...
Against a $42 million investment.
Yeah.
That's some good money right there.
Yep.
I'd buy that stock.
But the whole Insidious thing does cover there are several demons. I don't know what they...
call the villain, the adversarial characters in each. In the Insidious and the Red Door, it's the same, the red-faced lipstick demon, that guy. So in the first one and the last one, it's the same guy. And
there's quite a time between the two that were the originals with the Lambert family, Insidious and Insidious Chapter 2. And then they jump almost like, I don't know, Dalton, who was the kid who was... He was up in the attic, he had a fall, hit his head, and he
accidentally
went into a coma.
Yeah.
And they found out that he is actually astro projecting.
Right.
When he's sleeping and traveling.
Right.
And this is how the whole...
Right. Well, that's
the further it's called.
That's the premise of the Insidious movies, is that the people, the father and the son, can dreamwalk, they call it, where they astral project while they're asleep. And then the idea is that while their soul is astral projecting out of their body, then a demon can sneak in to the body. And that's what's happened with this.
Yeah, because the longer they leave their body is open for possession.
Right.
So that's why it did fall under the whole demonic possession theme that we did for October.
Exactly.
Yeah. So basically that's what and they can get stuck. I mean, how many times did somebody have to go into the further to bring somebody back?
Right. They have to take their little, their totem, the lantern totem, so they could see in the nether and find them and guide them back to their body. So that was the whole premise of the first one, is that the kid accidentally went into the wet nether, and then the demon was blocking him from getting into his body because he wanted to take over the body.
Yeah.
So then they had to have the psychic come and find him in the nether and then guide him back to his body.
The further,
that's what it is.
Yeah, the further. It kind of reminds me. You think of back, back in college or high school, I studied a lot of mythology, and you think about like the whole going down into what do they call it? The nether. Nether is what you mean. I'm trying to think of what they call it. Where you go across the river Styx, you have to pay a ferryman.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that whole journey into that other realm.
Right.
Makes you wonder, like, that astral projection. I wonder if that has anything also to do, like, think these people have their near-death experiences where they can see and things that are going on or hear things that are going on. But anyway.
They're just disconnected for a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thumbnail view of the... We don't want to go too deep into it and have too many spoilers. We already gave you a little bit of spoilers, but...
Yeah, we would recommend, if you really want to watch it in...
chronological order, not or the timeline order, not
release
when
date
it was release
order.
Dates, right?
Yeah, so we would say Insidious Chapter 3, Insidious The Last Key, which is 4, then Insidious...
The first one.
Insidious Chapter 2, and then Insidious The Red Door. That's the proper way to watch them. I wish we had watched them that way, because I was like, where are we?
Because you kind of...
You're like, I thought it was...
Wait a minute, like, where do these guys come from? And then you're like, okay, so they're like the first one is a movie, right? And then the 2 and 3 kind of go before that one.
No, 2 is a continuation.
Oh, yeah, right.
3 and 4 are the ones that are the backstory, giving you the backstory of how at least the psychic came to being, and how how a lot
they killed
of
her off in the first one. So then she's the main character in it, not the main, but a main character in it. So then they had to make 2 movies that are backstories in order to keep her in the movies, basically, because they, like dummies, they killed her off.
Yeah, the most interesting character. Like, I remember that. I'm like, why did they kill her off?
I know, I thought that too. I'm like, surely she's going to come back, And
they found a way to, like, bring her back, but like you said, they didn't know if Insidious would do it. I also heard that there's going to be an Insidious and Sinister cross. Because, are those no, those are both by James Wan, I believe, directed films. Okay. But yeah, there's talking about a cross, because I always, for a while there, got Insidious and Sinister mixed up. I would look and say, oh, wrong movie. You know what I mean? Like, similar movie, different title.
Yeah, but what is that, Balgul or whatever, the demon that's in Sinister is just a straight up demon. It haunts the footage of the found footage of the the things, and that's how the guy Ethan Hawke is like a author who writes true crime, and he finds the movies, and then there's
that's a whole other thing, and that actually is very good too, because it has you're like, when it all comes together, you're like, oh my goodness. I don't think they ever did a second one of that, but I wonder how they would cross that.
Well, there's like 3 of them.
Oh, there's 3 of them?
Yeah.
I always thought that there was just the one.
No.
So many movies, so little time.
Right. That's why you're here. See, we can lay this all out for you and save you all of the hunting
Save you the
around.
trouble.
Right.
Yep. Don't watch Mother Krampus if you want to have that. You don't want that time back, or you want that time back. Don't give me those hours back.
Yeah, we're gonna. I think what we'll do for the Christmas movies is we'll lump all the stinkers together and do one vlog of just the terrible movies. So that way we can, because we couldn't do a whole show about Mother Krampus, because it's like 5 minutes worth of this is awful. you know.
And I feel bad because it started out kind of like, oh, okay. You know, because I was like, it was funny when we were picking these and Mother Krampus was in the mix and I kept thinking, I don't think I want to watch this. I don't think I want to watch this. And we picked, there was a total of 30 that I ended up printing out, and we put them all in a bowl and we picked the 24 for the 24, days into the new Advent calendar. And I kept thinking, oh, please let Mother Krampus have fallen out. I'm like, I should just pull it out or set it fire. And sure enough, that was the first day. And you could hear me go, oh, no.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't think I want to watch it. Do you remember ever going to now this is dating us, but going to Blockbuster and you're walking along, and I love to peruse the horror section. And there was always that horror section movie like, those, I don't even think they're even B level, they're C level movies.
Yeah,
they're just
straight to video.
Yeah, like Chopping Mall and stuff like that. That's what it
Chopping Mall.
I've never.
You never seen Chopping Mall?
No, I have not seen Chopping Mall.
That's a good. If you're looking for a good slasher horror movie, Chopping Mall is actually pretty good because it's about the security guards get replaced by autonomous robots, and they, of course, hijinks ensue. They start killing everybody in the mall. It's pretty good.
It would not even relate today. All the malls are closing. Yeah. I have a mall that's now showing up in Urbex as the largest abandoned mall that they're slowly tearing down. I was expecting to have it imploded and seen a big pillow from my office building. They're recycling. No, nothing against recycling, but they're recycling it. So they've taken down a little bit off the front and the entryway. I'm like, this is going to take years.
Yeah.
So yeah, malls are going the way of.
Right.
They're going to make outdoor shopping in Missouri.
Yeah, so you can
where
walk
it's either
around in the snow.
114 degrees or, like it was this past week, 21 degrees.
Well, look at today. It got up to like 55. Today it's going to be like 20 tomorrow morning.
Yep.
You're like, ugh.
And now this is why everybody gets so sick.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, back to Insidious.
So bring it back to Insidious.
Okay, we're going to rate we don't want to rate the movies. We're going to rate the movies as a whole. The whole universe as a thing. And believe it or not, I think we're going to go with another Hell's Bell. Believe it or not.
I don't know. We said that the Hell's Bells were going to be like the movies that stand out in their genre. And I really think that Insidious is the whole thing is a set of films that stand out in their genre because it's a little bit of everything because it has family dynamics, it has father and son dynamics, it has like the husband and wife dynamics, but then there's also the kids, and there's also the relationship between the guy and his mom, and then the mom and the ghost hunters, and then the ghost hunters and the family, and then it's really, really well written, really well weaved,
and the story comes all around.
For being 5 films, the plot is very cohesive all the way through.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate that they got the kid from Insidious to play himself later.
When he was going to college?
Yeah. So it's the same kid from the first one that plays that character in the Red Door movie. So you don't have to see somebody with different colored eyes or something weird, and you're like, it kind of takes you out of it,
Yeah.
When but in this it's the same exact actor. So you're like, right away who he is.
Well, and actually the guy who plays Specs, his name is Lee Wano, cannot say his name, but he actually wrote all of them.
Yeah.
So
right.
He's been the writer, from the get-go, from all the way through all 5s. So he kind of kept it all cohesive.
Yeah.
Which, in some cases, let's just go back to, The Exorcist 2, or where it was written by somebody completely different, directed by somebody completely different.
Well, if you look at even beloved franchises like Nightmare on Elm Street or, the Friday the 13th, if you watch them chronologically, you're like, this is all over the place. There's people die in this one, they're back in that one. There's the actress plays 2 different characters in the same thing.
He goes to the moon, doesn't he, at one point? I'm like, how the hell does that happen?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's very much appreciated that the people that made these movies took the time to keep that linear, cohesive story all the way through all 5 movies.
And bringing the cast back.
Yeah.
like having the cast, through the 5 films.
Yeah, because
that's kind of really
that,
hard to do.
The actors have that kind of camaraderie when they've been doing this all these years, So when they show up on set, there's already that dynamic that's established, So it's easier to portray like this is the dad because he was the dad in the first movie. He was in the other movie, So you already know who that person is, who that character is, and you build kind of a repertoire with that character, the person that the actor's portraying, because like, oh, he's going to do this in this scene, and then he does it, and then you're like, okay, well, he's a cool guy,
Yep.
So it helps the storytelling that the actors are good and they know how to act and to pull off a scene, and B, writing is very good, so they have something to act that gets you involved in the scene, so that you actually feel for the characters, like when they're in the further and it's all darkness and you're like, oh man, I feel nervous because that's my guy, like I really like these people, I want to see them get back together, like you have that emotional connection to the characters, where a lot of movies you watch, you're just like, man, I wish something would fall on that dude.
Is it the underworld that they refer to? Is that where like the river Styx and all that? No, that's coming back. I was thinking like,
oh, yeah, that's a whole mishmash of different things though, because it's like the Egyptians and the Greeks and
that's right, the Romans.
Yeah,
and
so it all kind of smashes together right there.
All their gods and whatnot.
Yeah.
All I remember is it Sisyphus, the one who's rolling the rock up the hill?
Yeah.
And he never gets to the top. I sometimes feel like that in my life. Push, push, push.
Yeah.
Ah!
Sharon is the one that's piloting the boat.
Oh, yeah. And you got Cerberus at the gates of hell.
Yeah.
The 3-headed dog. Yep. High school was a long time ago, but mythology still...
All right, so we're going to bring it back. Bring it back.
Bring it back. So...
I don't want to...
You want to put the rating system up to remind everybody?
Yeah, here's the rating system.
And we are giving it a Hell's
Bells again. So we've been getting lucky with the top tier movies. So this one's definitely a...
They're going to think we're easy. We're easy critics.
They're going to say, these film critics, they always give it the best,
He's going to tell you if it's a stinker or not.
Yeah, and we'll go into We'll do a deep dive on why it didn't work and why it's bad. Yeah. I'll tell you exactly where it missed the mark and why it missed the mark. Like chrome pigeon coops on the roof of a glass
going
building.
Around in circles.
And then cut to a tap dancing scene for no reason at all.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll see you at the Midnight Matinee.
We'll catch you next time.
I sound like Selma. Go down and give me some cigarettes.
What's the... He's in the closet, Mrs. Torrance. Like that one. What's that one?
Don't ask the boy any questions. No, that's from Stir of Echoes.
No, I was thinking of The Shining.
Oh, The Shining. Red round.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.